about to start, and so we're going to start off with our MC, Cian Shortall. Thank you very much.
Thank you for accepting our invitation. You're very welcome. My name is Cian Shortall. Peter and Wynne Lockwood were my great-great-grandparents. I'd like to ask you that you check that your mobile phones are turned off. Thank you. You're opening with the film. I hope you like it. First speaker is the author of Peter's Key. So, here's Declan.
I'm back. Okay, Miro Hargon, it means a great deal to my family and to me that you're here. Thank you very much. Welcome. You're here because we want you to be here. It's not like a wedding. So we spend a lot of time going through an enormous list of potential invitees. The phone book. And you have to be careful because some people arrive at these things and they start singing The Fields of Athenry. Or they're on the phone to Paddy Power. Gamblers. And before you know it, all the food and drink is gone and they're dancing on the tables. And then there's the second group of well-behaved people. Now we found we had enough in the first lot, we didn't need to invite any from the second. Now, I want you to relax because I'm going to name a few people in the audience. And these are very good people. Peter's Key would not have come to fruition, but for the help of so many people. I can't name them all because if I did, by the time I'd finish, Wexford would have won an All-Ireland. So that means it would take me 12 months. I don't know what you're laughing at, I have no idea. I'm from Wexford, by the way, and I'm a very strong supporter of the Wexford hurling team. You may have heard of it. I want to thank all the Kilkenny hurling supporters because without them, the Kilkenny hurling team wouldn't be what it is. And so I want to thank those Kilkenny supporters for making my life as a Wexford supporter a complete and utter misery. Now, as I was going through the people who have helped, I decided to name about a dozen people who will represent those who have helped. And they are Pat Poddergeen de Lucry, Sheila Brennan, Aideen Mangan, Brenda and Gilles Grossart. And as I mentioned Brenda and Gilles, early on in the research, this book wasn't going anywhere until Brenda and Gilles kindly showed me the archive they had, which has greatly enriched Peter's Key and also enriched our knowledge of politics and history in the early part of the last century. Thanks also to my sister Wynne and to Jack and Anne de Lucry and their son John. Each of these people gave different kinds of help with archives, advice, but all of them had a common element. They gave me the best petrol you can get outside of Jack de Lucry's garage. Encouragement. I said I got that. Now, talking of encouragement, I want to mention specifically Michael Murphy, Yvonne Toohey, David Hanley, and my nephews Peter and David, and their sisters who happen to be my nieces, Laura and Kathy. Thank you all very much. Now, I want you to relax because I'm like Beckett, I don't talk about my work. But unlike Beckett, you may be able to make some sense of this. Now, this is an easy, informal event. My name is Declan Dunn. I wrote Peter's Key. But as Cian correctly set the tone, here's Declan. So if you're talking to me later on, simply refer to me as the author. As I was orbiting the lives of my grandparents, Peter and Wendell Luckery, I came across a few worlds, and I'm going to nominate people who represent those worlds to me. The first world is the world of publish, a very strange world. And Mary Fian and Patrick Dunphy are here today. They represent Mercier Press. And when you buy a copy of Peter's Key, you will notice it's published by Mercier Press. And we have a few copies on sale here today, courtesy of Stonehouse Books, Kilkenny. You can buy them anytime. You can buy them now. I don't mind. Now, with regard to the world of publishing, I mentioned Patrick and Mary, and they don't know this, but if, unlike the rest of you, they're still listening when I've finished, they will know. Before I wrote a word of Peter's Key, or went to any publisher, I walked out of the house one day. That's quite a rare event. And I went to 3 other publishers. And as you can imagine, I made a wonderful presentation. And after several hours, the first publisher said to me, "Do you mind if I interrupt you?" That's the way he said it. And I said, well, I don't mind being interrupted during most things. He said, "We're not going to publish this book. It has too narrow an interest." So I went to the next publisher, and he said, "We're not going to publish this book. It has too wide an interest." I said, "You know, there's someone I'd love you to meet." So I went to a third publisher, I have no idea why, and he said to me, "This is a book," he was good, this one. He said, "This is a book I would love to read, but fear to publish." So there are children here, and I'm not going to repeat what I said to that guy. Now what happened then was, I could have become an embittered soul, but I haven't. I don't think I have anyway. And I only mention these people now because they're going to feature in my next book, which will be called Snake Charmers I Have Briefly Known. So what happened was, I went off and I wrote Peter's Key. Didn't take me too long, it's only 2 words. And when I had finished the first draft, it was very busy, I went to a very good friend of mine at work, who happens to be my immediate boss, Ray Burke. And I said a few weeks ago that Ray was the best news editor in the world. And I said that not only because I want a pay rise, but because I want more holidays as well. So Ray said to me, "Why don't you go to Mercier Press?" Now, I wasn't surprised because Ray normally tells me to go somewhere. And I went to Mercier Press, and Mary Fian said, "We will publish this book." And since that time, I have been astounded by their professionalism, their dedication to detail, and their patience. And if you ask them about me, they'll say the exact same thing. Now, the next world we're going to come to is the world of academia and common sense. Very hard to find. Now, Tom Garvin, Professor Tom Garvin, he comes under the first heading. Professor Tom and Ray Burke and our colleague David McCullough, political correspondent RTE, read through various drafts of Peter's Key and made valuable suggestions. What that means is they used a lot of red ink and made valuable suggestions. And thank you very much for that. Dr. Martin Holland has made an enormous contribution to Peter's Key, so much so that I can tell you it would not be here today but for Martin. Thank you. Kilkenny is blessed with its historians. I was lucky to come across, not only for this book, but in my life, Jim Walsh, Jim Marr, and Tom Ryan. And to me, These people are the jewels in the crown of this city and county. And I know they won't mind my saying that the jewel that sparkled and that sparkles still most because of his legacy is that of Dr. Walter Walsh, who died recently, a man of profound decency, honesty and intelligence. May he rest in peace. I also want to mention The World of the Past. This book is co-dedicated to Nanny, Bridget Quinn, and she looked after the DeLuckery family for more than 50 years. She, along with Brendan Mangan, whose erudite and gentlemanly shadow is cast over every page of this book, and Liam O'Dwyer of Lavistown, and David DeLuckery of Bennett's Bridge, represent the dignity of the world of the past. Finally, there is The World of the Future. This book is also dedicated to a fine young fellow, Oisin Barrett, who's come all the way from London with his granddad and Nana, Angela and Vincent. He had to bring them, he's only 6. And the reason Oisin's name is in such a prominent position in this book is for 2 reasons. The first is that Angela and Vincent and Sinead looked after me like a lamb when I lived in London. Sinead is like a sister to me, Angela's like a sister to me, and Vincent is like himself. Wonderful people. And the second reason that Oisin's name is in lights is because this comes under the heading The World of the Future. He is as bright as a button, and he gets his own way a little. And if the future thinks it's going to do anything but what Oisin wants him to do, it is another thing coming. And it too, I feel, will be as bright as a button. So I want to thank you very much for listening to me, a rare event. And I want you to enjoy the day. There's one other thing I wanted to do. It was, I suppose, from a very early age that I heard about Peter DeLuckery and Wynne DeLuckery, and about their neighbours, the extended family, the Mangans, and all the people in Kilkenny. And my mother told the story quite a lot. And she felt that they, all of them, didn't get the recognition. I hope this puts it to rights some way. And also, I know my mother would like me to do this. She had great time for another Peter DeLuckery. Gets very complicated. Grandson. And I want to, with your permission, deem Peter DeLuckery and his wife Sheila guests of honour here today. Thank you very much. I want to thank all the people who've travelled. Greg Cahill and Bernard Keane from Liverpool, Jeff and Eileen Cartwright from Sheffield, Genevieve McCone from Switzerland, and some people have even come in from the Freshford Road. And you know what they're like. So thank you very much. It's all in the book, and my last line is, it can be read in 2 ways, both of which are relevant. It's all about you. Thank you very much. Very kind. I'm going to hand you back to the dapper Cian.
Music was very important to my great-grandparents, and it's important to us. Here is Carol Freely from Ballyhonus in County Mayo, who was a great-granddaughter of Peter DeLuckery's brother Larry and his wife Stella. Carol is going to sing Bridge Over Troubled Waters by Paul Simon.
Feeling some more you. I'll take your part. Oh, when darkness comes and pain is all around, Lord, cover it over troubled water. I will lay me down. Sail on, sail river, sail on by. Your time has come to shine. All the dreams are on their way to see how